Greetings grapplers, welcome to Judo for Jiu-Jitsu. My name is Larry Keith and this is Brian Powers, and today we're going to be talking to you and demonstrating Ko-uchi-gari and how you can bring it into your Jiu-Jitsu game. So Ko-uchi-gari translates to mean small inner reap, and so this is a really good attack. Any of the ashiwaza, the leg techniques, fit in really well with Jiu-Jitsu, particularly because the stance in Jiu-Jitsu is going to be crouched over with the hips back. It's kind of hard to do hip throws in those cases, so usually there's pretty easy access to the legs. The other reason is because when people take that crouched position, right, with they're bent at the waist, whether they have a bladed stance or a square stance, the hips are back, making them kind of heavy to the rear. It's kind of a pulling position, and so when they're already pulling in that direction, it makes it easier for you to trip them and make them fall in that direction. So one of the ways that we do this, there's a common, the Judo version of this is slightly different, right? Judo is going to address this more upright posture. And so typically it's practiced like so. We step forward, we step backward, we step forward, and I try to beat him, right, and sweep that foot out from underneath him like he's slipping on a banana peel, okay? So that's a very timing-based entry into that throw. Very seldom are you going to encounter in a jiu-jitsu situation where somebody's going to be standing upright like this, right? They're going to be in this more crouched posture and probably in a bladed stance, right? Even if he's in a square stance, it's really hard for me to make the timing to get that sweep. It's going to be difficult to do, okay? So, but in this bladed stance right here, I can grip various different grips, right? So a standard collar sleeve grip, I can have a cross collar grip. With this throw particularly, I kind of like having a lapel grip or a high collar lapel grip and just a sleeve grip here. Now, the direction of his off balance, pause right there, is his right rear corner. So if I draw a line from his heel to his heel and a line straight out, we make that triangle, that's the angle I want to make Brian fall to, okay? So from that angle, if I pull him and widen his stance out a little bit, if I get him to commit and take a bigger step right here, this is called we call this a split method. So I'm making him kind of do the splits. So instead of the sweep or timing-based reap method, I'm actually going to split it, make him do the splits a little bit. So I shuffle in, the sole of my foot, the bottom of my foot is going to clip the backside of his heel and lift his foot in the direction that his toes are pointed. This causes the fall. Now you notice it makes me lunge forward. When I lunge forward, I go with it and I enter into a nice knee cut or knee slice pass. This grip right here is one of the reasons why I like the grip, is it allows me to punch to the floor and secure my underhook, right? If I try to come in around his head for like a regular kesa-gatame, it's pretty easy for him to slip out of that and take my back as I enter into the pass. So I would prefer to punch this to the floor and to secure my underhook and then slide into my kuzure-kesa-gatame position. So that's part of the important information that we want to share with you, is kind of not just the technique itself, but the follow-up of the technique. As we say often in the business world, the fortune is in the follow-up. It is in our jiu-jitsu and judo game as well, right? So when I take somebody to the ground, I want to follow up effectively and not get, you know, in a scramble situation after doing all the work to get the takedown. So that follow-up is really super important. So another attack that we like to do for Ko-uchi-gari is a follow-up attack after we've attempted our o-uchi-gari, which is the major inner reap. So when that happens, this is the situation. Brian has his left leg forward, and I enter in right-handed. I go to clip that leg, and he steps over and back. Pretty common scenario, right? So as he does that, I come in, he shuffles back, I shuffle in, right? So I got to get close to him for this to get my best power. I don't want to be reaching out here. I got to get in close. And the same thing, I'm lifting his foot up in the direction that his toes are pointed, and that pull that happens when he falls, I let it pull me forward, right? So when I let it pull me forward, it puts me in a knee slice pass position. I'm already passing the guard, and then it's easy to get the underhook, get chest to chest pressure and slide into position and get this nice tight pin to follow up with. Now what I don't want to do, what I want to avoid is clipping the leg and then falling into his guard, okay? So if that happens, you know, it's not a horrible thing, I'm in his guard, but oftentimes my arm is extended. If my arm is extended, we fall, it's fairly easy for him to bring that leg up and over, and all of a sudden I'm finding myself in an arm bar or triangle situation. So I want to avoid that as much as possible. And I like to throw with intent. So the intent is already kind of planned out or mapped out for me, right? I know I want to take the person to the ground. I know that when we get to the ground, I want to be in a dominant position right away and not scramble, and definitely not put myself in a negative position. So that's kind of the basis of the idea that we're trying to share with you today. So one more time, off of the o-uchi-gari, okay? So I enter in, he steps back, I flip, I follow, I go right in to my kuzure-kesa. Thanks for watching our Judo for Jiu-Jitsu video. If you found some value in this video, please leave us a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe and click on the notification tab so that you don't miss any future videos. And until the next time, we'll see you on the flip side.